panelists and to talk about a broad topic about AI and sovereignty. So I think we have the best experts here. We're going to start with Isabelle. Isabelle Riel, you are director of PrAIrie, meaning Paris Artificial Intelligence Research Institute, and you are also VP AI of the University PSL, Paris Sciences Lettres. Welcome. And we have Renaud, Renaud Allioux. You are co-founder and chief innovation officer at Preligens. And Preligens is a company specializing in AI for intelligence and defense applications. And you analyze a vast amount of data from various sources to provide actionable intelligence for defense purposes. So, wow. And Antoine Bordes, welcome as well, President and Vice President AI of Helsing. And Helsing is a European defense AI company. And previously you led AI research at Meta for several years, where you built and managed the research AI teams. So welcome. So we'll go through a couple of areas, and to start with will be a bit of definitions. So what do we mean by AI sovereignty, and especially how can you explain to us how AI technologies can be integrated into defense systems, and a bit more broadly with Isabelle? So maybe Antoine, we can start with you.
Yeah, I mean, very quickly, I think sovereignty is the ability to be able to decide by ourselves, decide who we elect, what we buy, what we build. I think it's quite important, and AI is going to transform all of that. So I think what we care about right now is that how much are we going to be able to decide also what kind of AI, how we apply it, why it's used. I think that's the whole topic right there, and it can go pretty deep in terms of from the hardware to the software, and maybe we'll go back at this. If I go just for defense, which is what I'm working on right now, it's very important to realize that AI is an accelerator of power. It's a power accelerator. And if you don't master AI for the defense sector, then you lose the defense edge, and then your sovereignty pyramid, I would say, is much more fragile, because of course sovereignty starts with defense and military, unfortunately.
Renaud, maybe you want to add on?
Yes, what I would like to add is, I think in sovereignty there is the notion of being a leader and being very good at it. If you have a sovereign product and a sovereign technology, but it's really subpart, it's not really sovereign because you are just behind. So you need to have leaders. You need to have French and European leaders, company in terms of technology, in terms of capabilities. In defense, it means integrating and developing this leader by building AI in every system possible. To enable what we call information superiority, to be able to really to decide and react faster than our competitor.
Okay, great. And Isabelle, maybe you can explain how also AI sovereignty can be applied in other sectors. And
no, I fully agree with the two previous things. I think sovereignty is a question of be able to choose, I agree, and be able to have our own technologies. And especially in defense, it can have a big impact on a lot of topics, from imaging, monitoring to everything. Also, another thing that we often forgot, it's around all the rest, because army needs also logistic, text analysis, and so on. So like in all other fields, it can really help. And it's also a question of democracy. And you are facing a lot of attacks. We heard this in this day, a lot of things about this. And AI can also be a way of attack, but a way of for defense.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe Antoine, because you are working really on how to protect democracies, and in Europe in particular. So can you tell us a bit more about the challenges you face?
Yeah, I mean, the company Helsing started 3 years ago on the idea that actually democracies, especially European democracy, were not a given. I think this is a bit the great awakening on that we need to fight and we need to stand up for what we care about. So that's what the company does through AI. I think the challenge is right now is that if we go one step deeper in terms of the detail, is that AI is the cycle of development of new AIs actually months or years, right? A few years, and I think Renaud will not go against me. You see that new models coming out every month, every 6 months, etc. The cycle of innovation in defense, you count them in decades. Okay, 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. This is the length of the program. So how do you reconcile the fact that the program for funding, for development, for test, for deployment, you count at the scale of 10 years, when the scale of software and AI is at the scale of months? And so it's not just a matter of funding for a company like ours, right? You don't want to wait for 10 years for a contract, right? That's super hard for innovation. That's also the point, like, okay, but then on the field, you're just losing a lot of advantage. Because as it's been said, AI is the way to process the information faster. Information is plentiful on the battlefield. Satellite data, radar data, sonar data, RF data, etc. It's a lot. If you can master it before, you get an edge, and in defense, speed is life. Okay, so that's the whole point of the chain. And so how do you reconcile the fact of this whole industry that's used to work at the years and decades for a new type of technology that works even weeks or months? And that's the big challenge we're facing right now.
Yeah. So indeed, that's a big challenge about the speed and how to catch up. So maybe Renaud, can you tell us more about the conditions for this kind of successful sovereign AI?
Yeah, I think speed, and I think the fact that there is some kind of, we could say, disentanglement or something different between the cycle of innovation in like defense, building a new aircraft carrier, a new submarine, and software, make it. I think today we still in defense, AI is still seen as a, I could say, technological object, and there is a lot of progress going on in France. We have a new agency which is called the AMIAD, which is developing AI for the government and the defense industry. And we have, at Preligens, we have been working on that for 8 years. So we saw all the changes, all like the kind of the cycle are shortening, etc. But we still see some progress to be made, especially in integrating AI in every program and not seeing it as a technological object. When you are building an aircraft, there is the radar, the electronics, the engine, and it's all taken in consideration into the program. You have to have the same thing with AI in every program. Like when you are building a new software system for managing pays or managing stocks, you need to integrate, okay, there will be AI in it. If you are building a new aircraft carrier, there will be AI in it. And this is something, still I think there is some progress to do, but we see it going in the right way. In defense, you have to be patient because it's always slower than we are used to in typical software industry. Sometimes for good reason, sometimes for legacy reason. But I think the world really thinking about AI everywhere and not seeing it as a technological object that is supposed to be in a lab or in an innovation hub, but something has to be integrated in program, in hardware platform, in drones, etc. I think it's the right way to go.
And what is interesting, maybe Isabelle, because you really make this bridge between the academic area and the private and public sectors. So maybe AI is in everything. So how we can also push further this AI adoption, and maybe you can tell more about that, your view on it. As
Antoine has mentioned, it's really a question of difference of time, and even in academic sector, it's going very, very quick because now you have a very short time between what we are used to call fundamental research, a paper of research, and innovation and a product in your pocket. And for defense, effectively, when you imagine a new plane, it's for the next 30 years. And it's awful to be able to consolidate this. And I think all the industry, from energy to automotive to luxury, fashion and everything, has now to rethink how to transform itself, considering AI. But in the defense part, on top of this, you can see all the problem of regulation, of the between foreign companies, foreign investors, rules, all of these big companies were linked to the government and used to build items from army since very long times. And it's my opinion. I think France should be able to make some places, some sandbox, some places for newcomers to be developed, because it really takes a long time to be involved in all of these big programs. And maybe we are missing some very important innovation just because of this.
Yeah, and actually that's also what we wanted to discuss. This is about how to compare with the US ecosystem in terms of AI sovereignty. What are the conditions for this successful sovereignty versus where we are here today in France and more broadly in Europe? Maybe you have a lot of experience in the US.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some work to be done. Let's say it this way, to catch up. I strongly believe that there's no way we can build technical sovereignty at the national level. It needs to be done at the European level. I think at the European level we have a shot. I think at the national level, if I take AI broadly, of course, if you go to defense, these matters are really domestic, so we need to see how we interconnect that. But in terms of building the technology, we are able to regulate at the European scale. Can we actually innovate at the European scale? Right, that would be very important. I think we have, if we stay like by countries with AI strategies by countries, alignment by countries, I don't think we can compete, because of you need to aggregate the talent and you need to aggregate like capital, funding, and compute. Right, so that's what's driving there. Right now, it's a very complex time because actually the technology is advancing very quickly, and actually the big players are double downing in terms of capex investment to buy more infrastructure. So actually you have compounding advantages. You have advantage technology, which allows you to get capital, which allows you to invest in infrastructure, which allows you to invest more. And this cycle is going right now. And right now, clearly, Europe is trying hard, and Arthur will talk later on Mistral, we're trying hard, but this is just a bit of a different game right now. And we have maybe 1 or 2 at the European scale. We don't have 10 at the scale of the state of California, for instance. So there's this aspect that's there. So we should really come together, work as European, and try to unite our forces.
Yes, and Renaud, maybe you want to give your views on that as well, about the policy governance.
Yeah, and I will talk especially in defense because this is what I know more, but also in tech in general and space tech. I think the first thing, we don't have to be shy and like having some kind of inferiority complex. They have more money in the US, but to be honest, they're also very capital inefficient. We have seen companies in the US that have, when we launch a company, that have raised like 10 times what we have raised, and now then bankruptcy because they spend everything in NASA office, very expensive salaries, but didn't manage to produce anything valuable. So, for example, we can say at a global level, a small company with a niche, like analyzing data, especially visual data. But in defense, when we go to the US, they tell us they don't have something similar. We are probably a leader in this type of field because like the US market tells us that. So it means that as a European, as a French, you can be leaders in technologically. You don't have to be shy. It's not because our Americans are better than us. However, the fact that as a French, we are a small country compared to the US, in terms of finance, we have like less finance than them. I totally agree with Antoine. We have to stay at the European level and collaborate at the European level and see sovereignty at the European level. Also in terms of if you compare ecosystem, what is interesting is the US has really very framed load for foreign investors and foreign companies. Like as a French company going to the US to sell to defense, it's not simple. I won't say that, but we know how to do it. There is some like we call proxies, etc. Yeah. I don't see similar laws at the European level. It's more depending on countries. For us, for example, it's easier to sell to US than selling, for example, to Germany, like or Belgium, because everyone has different laws, everyone has different regulation in terms of investment, in terms of where's the capital, what is the nationality of the coder, etc. And so, as the US unify law in one country, it's really easier to understand what will be the cost for you, what will be the need. Okay, it takes me 24 months. Okay, I will invest like $2 million, $5 million, $10 million, 24 months. It's okay. And after, at the end, I know we'll be able to sell.
Okay. And Isabelle, about the conditions of success for this sovereignty in France and Europe, how do you foresee?
I fully agree with you, and I think most of the actors share this analysis that we have too many borders, too many rules, too many. It will be quite difficult to go further and to remove all these rules. In research, for example, we have this big program at the European level that has done a lot of things for researchers, especially so for French researchers, but especially for small countries. And it's go from research to innovation, industry competitiveness, and so on. So it's possible to do things. We need a big push from politicians. For your question for French, for example, we are very proud of our talents because for AI, you need three things. You need people, what I call a brain juice. You need the data and you need compute. We can discuss a long time from data and compute, but we have a lot of people. We have good engineer, we have good researcher, we have a good teacher. So we have the basis. We see wonderful people. There are two here in companies. We need more investment, and we need to be able to remove all the stupid rules that block innovation at some point.
And Antoine, about talent retention or talent attraction, so you wanted to say a word?
Yeah, I think the world has changed. If we take the side of Europe in the last years, for a while it was very difficult to have a lot of opportunities in Europe to do AI. You had universities and that's it. Now you have actually a much broader offering between actually different types of companies working in different sectors, so that are more upstream, some are actually bigger, that are really trying to be at the cutting edge worldwide. So you can stay in France, you can stay in Europe, and you can be at the forefront. That's, it didn't exist 10 years ago. Now it's there. We still have the university and the tissue. So we have this. So I would say we have the ingredients to be able to keep the talent we train. I went to the US for a few years and I came back. So I see what I'm talking about. That can stay here. I think what I would like to nudge a bit further is that I want also some of this talent to engage into more like defense type project like Preligens or Helsing, because we've seen a divide in terms of a lot of the AI talent has been going to like more civilian sectors, advertisement, marketing, ads, research, etc., and much less in terms of the defense sector. But we need those talent there as well. So it's a call for people. Find me on LinkedIn and apply.
Exactly. I think that's the optimistic way. I mean, we attract more and more defense and sovereignty, and especially national security. This is really something critical and very key that we need to speed up in that area, and talents make the difference. So I think that will be the final words for today. And thank you so much, Antoine, Renaud, and Isabelle.
Merci.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.